I do. What did happen now? See how your face is shine.
Normally. All right, so why are we yet to get a hit song in the first quarter of 2024? What do you think is the cause of this slow start?
Man, see, yeah, it's just it's I don't want to say it's peculiar to this year. It's not new. Like every year, things tend to take a while before it picks up, right? It takes a moment before things pick up, because mostly artists, the biggest name, used to try to watch the landscape, watch the scene, and kind of like keep their best songs to themselves to see what's going on before they unleash them. It's not particularly new. Every year, the biggest names, the consistent hit makers, they tend to keep the cast to themselves. Try to watch the landscape, try to study the industry before they unleash their hit songs. So, but this year, it does look like it's been slower than normal, at least in comparison to last year. And now, when we compare to last year, I think number one issue would be last year we had artists building momentum from the previous year, like carrying the momentum of 2022 into 2023. Ashake Shea Vibes. Like Shea Vibes dropped an EP, I think first week of January, you already dropped an EP. Ashake dropped, I mean, it was off the Mr. Money with the Vibe album, and it's trying to like make it 2 for 2. So it dropped 230. It was just like everyone was just like going hard, building of momentum, because they had to like sustain the momentum they started in 2022. So that spilled over into 2023. There's also Odumodu Black, who just burst into the scene. I mean, he has been building momentum with Picanto. Then I think March, he dropped Declan Rise in March, took off. There was also Charlie Poppy burst into the scene with Elon Musk, took off. So yeah, compared to last year, actually this year has quite been slow, because this time last year we had songs like 230, Elon Musk, Declan Rice, there's the Shea Vibes EP, there's also Guagualada already, there's Party No Dey Stop already. Yeah, Guagualada was March, Party No Dey Stop was March. But this year, it's just like we have not had any convincing it song, like at least that dropped this year. All the songs that have been popping this year, they're from last year, from December last year. And I think the only it song that I can say, okay, I've dropped this year, or quote unquote it, because I don't know, they're still questionable. They've not like, the maturity period is not yet for us to call them a hit. But I'll say Coma to an extent. I think that's the most streamed Nigerian song on Spotify this year. Then there's Showa by Kiss Daniel. So that one is like, yeah, he's on his way to become a hit song. So it's really been it's been a slow year. It's been a slow year, and hopefully things will pick up. I mean, I think we hope to see things pick up later in the third quarter. But yeah, it's been a slow year. Yeah. So what can we blame for this slow start to 2024? I mean, number one is, I know it's been a recurring conversation and it seems kind of like overflogged, but I would say I think people are getting tired of my piano, of that log drum, that like it's just like man, it's just like it's the same thing. And I think artists are beginning to get lazy with it. A lot of artists are hiding behind log drums to just do whatever they think is going to work, whatever that seems sticky enough. So it's becoming very repetitive. And I think there's also consumer fatigue. For the past 3 years, listeners have been fed an overdose of Amapiano, like the same kind of similar sound. And this is all thanks to Mr. We know who who just became a superstar with Amapiano, and everyone who wanted to replicate his type of success, everyone who wanted to enjoy what Ashake was enjoying, had to follow that path. And if you see the next person that tried to do what he did became successful, Shea Vibes, and Charlie Poppy also followed that path and used Amapiano mixed with his own Bini heritage, and we had three breakout stars in 2 years, all borrowing the same, similar sound. So I think it's kind of played out right now. It's kind of played out. Like it's nothing. I think we've reached the creative limits of my piano. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to hold a pessimistic view, because I think there's a pessimistic view around my piano right now, and listeners are not excited. I don't think listeners are even giving artists the chance. Like there's no benefit of the doubt. Once they just hear locked drum, they just clock out. So I don't want to be pessimistic, but I do think maybe Amapiano has reached its elastic point. Like we've seen Oja piano, the fusion of the Oja flute. We've seen the fusion of the Benin street heritage and Benin language with it. We've seen the fusion of Yoruba Fuji across both Fuji, Akpala, Oshe vibes, and Ashake. So like there's almost nothing new, nothing inventive that might come off it again. So I think that is kind of playing on the mood right now, and it just seems like the sound is tired, right? So that I could also say that is accounting for the slow start to 2024 because everything they're dropping is still an offshoot of our piano, right? Everyone who the same way everyone who scored success in 2022 tried to do the same thing in 2023. That's what's happening again. Everyone is just like trying to follow the pattern, try to toe the same path. So yeah, we could blame that on our piano. We could also blame it on consumer fatigue. Just the same l- small listeners throwing the same similar sound to them. So yeah, over and over. So they just like tired of the sound, and there's nothing exciting, nothing new out there for them to grab and hold on to. So there's that part. And the last one I would say, I mean, when we compare, as I said, when we compare to 2023, there's no artist sustaining momentum from last year. Like say from last quarter of last year into this year. Maybe you start getting momentum in August 2023 and you want to like yeah, just say enter January with that momentum. We didn't have anything like that compared to 2023 where we had Shea Vibes, Ashake, even Odumodu Black. But this year, we've yet to even know who is going to be the breakout star of this year. We just maybe King Maji. She's the most likely candidate for me. Yeah, so it's not. So everything is just really very linear. You're just waiting, just keeping your hands and waiting. Okay, what next? What next? So I think maybe because the big names haven't dropped yet, I think once they start dropping, it will start shaping the mood and inevitably one hit song would definitely come out. So, yeah.
All right, so talking about hit songs, how reliant is the industry on these hit singles?
It's very, very that's why it's crazy, right? Because I mean every Friday a lot of songs get dropped. But the mood is still kind of like very, very down, like somber because there's no hit song yet. There's no bubbling song yet. And the industry is relying on this song because we just have to ask ourselves like how much is the career of an artist also relying on this song, depending on the way you position yourself, right? For pop stars, who are the ones that actually drive the industry forward, their careers are reliant on this song. The difference between the big names and those that are pop stars that are not big names, even though they've spent the same time in the industry, is the number of hit songs they've produced within that time frame, right? So the industry moving forward is reliant on it to a large extent because you need each songs to keep the vehicle moving, to keep it going. So Afrobeat as a movement, the way I see it, it's reliant on its songs a lot. It's not especially when it comes to the exportation of the sound, exportation of the movement. It's not nobody. I don't think anyone is going to check out an artist who's not having a hit song. Whoever is in the front of the movement is the person that has the most, like the popping it at that point. So when there seems to be a shortage of it, although it's just really the time frame is still very short, so I don't think we need to panic that much yet because we just recently had Calm Down, like took over the scene. So it's just like 6 months ago or even shorter than that. Then what happened, right? But when people start to see like okay, there's nothing popping, like it's look like we're in decline, then they begin to wonder like who is going to be the next person to push the movement forward because it's not about an artist. It's not even about a whole. It's about its songs for now, and maybe we can use it to propel the movement to the point where it becomes a bit more less reliant on its songs. Because if you look at how we've been able to like take it gradually, step by step, it's actually about songs and the artists who created those songs, not necessarily about a whole. From I'm a piano to love wanting to essence to last to calm down, so and the way this thing is like whoever has the hit song, that's where the attention is. So if you don't have a hit song or if there's no hit song coming out of that place, attention goes elsewhere, right? So that's why hit songs really, really matter. And it's just the way it is with mainstream pop music. It's sustained by hits, by virality, by the ability to command attention at a very massive scale. So yeah, so Afrobeats, I mean, like every mainstream genre is reliant on its songs. So that's why I mean that's why a lot of people, even stakeholders, critics are quite really particular about what is happening in the industry. Are we in decline? Are we in diminishing return? So I think that's maybe where we should look at. That's the conversation we should be having. Are we actually in diminishing return? Is Amapiano played out? Are we supposed to be looking for the next frontier of sound we can explore and keep pushing our movement forward? Yeah.
All right, so this slow start that we've had, does this signify any decline in Nigerian music?
No, I don't think it does. I mean, let's look at hip hop, for example. In the last 3 years, there've been consistent conversation about decline in hip hop that is not reflected in the data. To our ears, we're like, oh, there's no, new hit songs. There's no this and that. Even in pop, they'll be like pop has peaked. There's that nostalgic rush. Even in Afro, we still have that nostalgic rush. Or feel like stuff from the past is better than what we have now, juvenile and stuff. So, but the whole conversation about hip hop in decline is not reflective in the data because they keep like the growing and they still have the biggest market share, right? So I think that's the same thing with Afrobeat. I don't think we're in decline. I think I think we're suffering diminishing return of pop music. After a sound is played out, and it's normal. It's normal if you look at the Western frontier, like say America. There was a time where it was a it was reggaeton taking over the whole place. Like everyone was like imbibing, like infusing reggaeton. Then there was a time it was EDM where Pitbull was the monster. You needed a Pitbull verse and stuff like that. Then it kept evolving. So it's I mean so it's I wouldn't say we decline. I would just say we're suffering diminishing return that is very typical to pop music. So it's about how we can like move past this diminishing return. And it's not it's this the funny thing with this type of situation is that it's just one hit song can just you get like you just forget about this whole conversation. One song just pops, gets big on TikTok, start blowing internationally, and this whole Afrobeat in decline, the industry's tanking, we don't have creative juice anymore. Everything just dies down. Nobody cares anymore. And after one hit song, then other people start like trying to like replicate in little fractions what made that song a hit song, and the industry just gets sustained. So I wouldn't say Afrobeat is in decline. I think it's a bit of it's a gross exaggeration. If we say Afrobeat is in decline, I think it's just diminishing return.
All right. So do you think we would have a better second quarter?
Do you think we would?
I mean,
You're not. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I'm optimistic, I mean, it's not even about optimism. It's definitely going to happen. Like if you look at the industry right now, the biggest names are yet to drop. I mean, and the thing is that a lot of people are going to drop this year. Almost everybody is dropping. So it is inevitable that one hit song will not come out of this at some point. Like sooner or later, give it 2 weeks, give it 1 month. By May, we should at least. If by May we don't have a hit song, by June we don't have a hit song, then there's problem. There's problem. But I think we're definitely going to have a hit song sooner or later. And I think the thing is, I was speaking with a friend recently, and we're talking about how Nigerian listeners, music consumers are still greatly, like strongly tethered to the big names. To the big names, they still need that Wiz, David, Bonner, Ashake, Rema to drop. Like those are the guys that will still shape the industry. Then, like imagine new guys can pop out from nowhere and just like rise to the surface and just shock everybody. And we've seen that kind of consistently now, from Nera to Ashake. Zlatan era, Ashake, we've seen Charlie Poppy, Odumodu Black. So maybe this year we're still very hopeful that something like that is going to happen, right? So listeners are still very tethered, they're still very tied to the big names. They need those big guys to drop songs to shape the mood of the industry. So when Davido drops a song, Whiskey drops a song, Burna Boy drops a song, Ashake drops a song, Rema drops a song, it is inevitable that one hit will not come out of those songs. Like something will definitely come out. So there's that, and it's kind of normal for things to start slow. Although, to be fair, things have been maybe extraordinarily slow or beyond normal in 2024, but it's not really something that we need to lose sleep about. I think what we need to be more concerned about is about our creative growth. How we're able to like find new ways to sustain the movement, sustain the sound, and not rely on a particular sound that seems to be overflogged. And that's the issue right now. So it's inevitable that things will pick up. I think things are going to pick up. It's not unusual for the year to start slowly, especially as regarding its songs. When it comes to, albums, things seems to have picked up with albums. Like we've gotten some decent projects this year, and that's the whole thing. It's quite easier to make an album than to make a hit song. That's what people don't understand.
It is.
Oh, it is. See, making a good album is relatively easier than scoring a hit song. Now, making a good album, you need the ability. That's like talent. You need like a sense of purpose, a clarity of purpose, what you want to do, the theme, what you want to explore, what you want to talk about, the direction you want to take. And that's all has to do with ability and clarity of purpose. When you can do that, you can put together a couple of good songs that would form a good body of work. But when it comes to score a hit song, like a good part of it is out of your hands. Luck has a lot to play with it. Luck has a lot to do with it. So the song has to be intrinsically good, at least to an extent. Because when it comes to hit songs, hit songs that you just don't understand how this song became a hit. Like you ask yourself, okay, how is this song? Like, why is this a hit? Like this thing, it shouldn't even be a hit, but at the end of the day, it's still a hit song, right? So there's a huge element of luck to it. You can market it, you can do everything. If it's not going to be a hit, it still won't be a hit song, right? So there's a huge element of luck to it. So that's why it's really special when an artist gets a hit song. So eventually, at some point, we know there will be hit songs this year. So just what matters is about how to creatively sustain the industry. I think that's what everyone should be more interested about. How we can find ways to keep moving creatively and not just like seem like everyone is facing the same direction. And me, that is where I see to be the biggest. That's what I see to be the biggest problem. If I thought there's a problem, it's about how there's no risk taking on a large level, on a grander scale. I think right now, when it comes to Nigerian mainstream pop music, the only person I can say is taking significant risks is Victoni. In terms of the songs he's releasing, he's balancing. He did Oima, which is like very Afrobeat. Then he did the Angelo song. He did the song with Avi, and so it's the only one not trying to like follow, just do lock drum every time, understand? Like he's been able to like diversify and he's taking risks, and that's very, very brilliant. But we have to ask ourselves, how rewarding is the industry of risk takers? It's not very rewarding. I mean, where is his songs? How many of his most popular release yet from like last year is still Oima, which sounds very Afrobeat like. So it's the industry is not very rewarding of risk takers. So that's why a lot of artists are reluctant to take risks. But I mean, if the biggest names do like start maybe trying to try different other sounds, like Kiss Daniel is doing with the whole infusion of the Nigerian indigenous genres like the Tungba, the Ntwetwe and Showa, so it's just like that steps away from lock drum a bit, but still carries similar and familiar elements. Then we begin to like be able to move past lock drum. Because right now it seems that we're stuck creatively and we cannot create within, and that's a huge problem for me, because it seems like if we cannot find a sound popping elsewhere that we can borrow from, then we cannot create from within ourselves. It's problematic. It's really, really problematic. So do we have to wait for SE to find a new sound for us that we can borrow from, or do we have to wait for Ghana or something? So I think that's the conversation we should be having, and I just hope that with time, this Amapiano stuff will become clearer. I mean, I already seem to have a position. I've already taken a position that is played out and it's tired. I will need to move past it. But at the same time, I understand that if there will likely be a hit song anytime soon, it might still be Amapiano. Yes, Amapiano still stands the strongest chance to provide a hit song. So, but what matters is that when the time is set, when it is time, like it is markedly time to move past it, the artists are ready to start creating something new and looking in other directions to create music that carries different elements for our culture and that can move the Afrobeat movement forward. So I mean, we're looking forward to second quarter, and hopefully it picks on and it's better than the first quarter. Yeah, and that's facts on.